welcome back to channel. Today's topic is quite important as per the theory paper of your psychology, and that is schools of psychology. This is one of the questions they can ask you in your vivas also. So first of all, let's check all the different schools we have in psychology. So this is an entire list of different schools we are talking in this video. So let's talk about the first school of psychology, and that is structuralism. As the name suggests, they were interested in the structure itself. Let's take an example. If we are talking about a building, what make a building into a structure format? And if we'll go to the very basic term, we are talking about brick. So like that way, structuralism school is based on the psychological pattern where they are talking about the basic things related to psychology, and those are emotions, thoughts, perceptions, etc. William Wundt is the personality you are talking about in structuralism, and in that case he used a method called introspection. Now what is introspection? Thinking what is going on inside you and talking about it. So he was literally asking each and every person what is happening in terms of emotion, what is happening in terms of thoughts inside them, and this is how this school came up. So let's talk about second school of psychology, and that is functionalism. William James was talking about this school, and in this school of psychology they are not talking about what, they are talking about why. Now why the psychology is important or why mind is important, the purpose behind it might be the adaptability in the environment. So here the things related to psychology are like mind was essential for survival, and mind was a differentiating factors for all humans from the other animals, because we were thinking, because we were having thoughts in our mind. Now we are talking about third school of psychology, and that is behavior. In this school of psychology, they were like, forget about mind. We are not dealing with mind because we can't see it. So let's think about that type aspect of the personality which you can observe, which you can see, and that is behavior. That's what the name of school is, behaviorism. Here we are talking about Watson and Skinner, very famous experiment of Skinner related to dog and bell. We'll talk about this later in some other video. But here they were talking about behavior of persons, stimulus and responses towards those stimulus, conditioning things and observable behavior. Now let's talk about the next school of psychology, that is Gestalt psychology. Now this is a type of school where the psychologists are involved in a very unique pattern of thinking. Rather than thinking about a piece, let's talk about the whole of it. Now what do you mean by that? It means rather than thinking about mind as just one pattern of thinking or one pattern of imagination, let's think about the whole perspective of mind, whole perspective of psyche in total, and this is what psychologists suggest in this school. And now we have a next school of psychology which you should and must mention in your answer, and that is related to a school of psychology which belongs to Sigmund Freud. He just shocked the world by his different aspect of psychology. He introduced this school of psychology that is called psychoanalysis, and he introduced new angles to psychology like childhood axis, like controlled by unconscious mind and desires. He introduced all these new things in psychology which amazed people. Now comes the next school of psychology, that is humanistic school. Because there were various angles related to different schools of psychology, and people were puzzling around all those schools. There were a lot of critics related to psychoanalytics. These psychologists like Maslow and others, they were interested in kind of aspect considering human being as a different entities in this entire world with self-respect, with self-growth, with positivity, and they were thinking about this humanistic approach of the psychology. Comes the next school of psychology, that is cognitive psychology. Now in this type of school, they were relating about mind and their various aspects of work like thinking, emotions, analysis, remembering, etc. etc. And this whole aspect concluded as a cognitive process. So in total, we are going to explain all these schools in your answer, which can make a very good answer for you, and they ask you this question for 5 marks or 10 marks.